Have you ever felt like the world is just a blur of noise? Like everyone's talking, but no one's really listening? Today, I want to share a story with you. A story about a boy named Leo who lived in a world just like that. Leo lived in a bustling, vibrant town, but it was also incredibly loud. People shouted over each other at the market, horns blared in the streets, and even at home, the television was always on, competing with the radio. Leo was a part of this noise. He talked a lot, always eager to share his own thoughts, his own stories, his own jokes. He was a bright, energetic boy, but he had a secret problem. He didn't know how to listen. When his teacher, Mrs. Anya, would tell stories in class, Leo would be busy doodling or whispering to his friend. When his grandfather tried to share memories of his youth, Leo would interrupt with a story about a video game he played. He loved his family and friends, but he was so full of his own words that there was no room for anyone else's. He was like a cup that was already overflowing. Nothing more could be poured in. One sunny afternoon, Leo's mother asked him to go to the old town bakery. "Leo," she said, handing him a list, "I need you to get a loaf of sourdough bread, a dozen cinnamon rolls, and please, listen carefully to Mr. Gable, the baker. He might have a special message for me." "Got it, Mom. Sourdough, cinnamon rolls, message. Easy peasy," Leo shouted as he grabbed his scooter and zoomed out the door, the rest of his mom's words trailing behind him like smoke. He zipped through the streets, the wind in his hair, humming his favorite tune. When he arrived at the bakery, the warm, sweet smell of fresh bread wrapped around him like a hug. Mr. Gable, a kind old man with a flour-dusted apron, greeted him with a smile. "Ah, Leo, good to see you. What can I get for you today?" he asked, his voice calm and gentle. Leo, in his usual hurry, rattled off his list. "One sourdough, a dozen cinnamon rolls, please." Mr. Gable nodded and began packing the order. As he tied the box of warm rolls, he said, "Leo, your mother is a wonderful woman. Please tell her that the special order she placed for Saturday is ready. She can pick it up any time after 9 in the morning. It's the multi-grain loaf she loves so much." "Okay, got it," Leo replied, already thinking about the race he was going to have with his friends later. He grabbed the bags, paid, and was out the door in a flash. The baker's gentle words had gone in one ear and right out the other. When he got home, he proudly presented the bread and rolls. "Mission accomplished," he declared. "Wonderful, Leo." "Thank you," his mother said. "Did Mr. Gable have a message for me?" Leo paused. A message? He vaguely remembered Mr. Gable saying something, but his mind was a blank. He said. "He said the bread is really fresh today," he mumbled, feeling a prickle of unease. His mother sighed softly. It was a familiar pattern. She knew Leo didn't mean to be forgetful, but his inability to listen was becoming a real problem. The next day, Leo's world began to unravel. On Saturday morning, his mom was disappointed when there was no special multi-grain loaf for breakfast. Later, at school, his science fair partner, Mia, was upset. "Leo, I told you yesterday to bring the blue wires, not the red ones. Weren't you listening? The volcano they built wouldn't work without the right connection." Leo felt a knot of guilt tighten in his stomach. The final straw came that evening. His grandfather sat him down, his eyes full of a gentle sadness. "Leo," he began, "I tried to tell you earlier that my old music box was broken. I was going to ask if you'd help me take it to the repair shop. It was my grandmother's, and it's very precious to me. But you were so excited to tell me about your soccer game that you didn't hear me." Seeing the hurt in his grandfather's eyes was like a punch. For the first time, Leo realized his not listening wasn't just a small, harmless habit. It was hurting the people he loved. He was building walls between himself and others, brick by brick, with every unheard word. That night, Leo couldn't sleep. He felt ashamed and lonely. He decided, right then and there, that he had to change. He had to learn to be a listener. The next morning, He made a conscious choice. He sat with his mom at breakfast and didn't say a word. He just listened. He heard her talk about her worries for the garden, about a funny thing a coworker said. He learned things he never knew, simply by being quiet. At school, he apologized to Mia and asked her to explain the wiring again. He focused on her every word, even drawing a little diagram to help him remember. To his surprise, when he truly listened, the instructions made perfect sense. They fixed their volcano, and it was a huge success. The biggest test was with his grandfather. He found him sitting on the porch, looking at the silent music box. Leo sat beside him. "Grandpa," he said softly, "I'm so sorry I didn't listen before. Please, tell me about the music box. I want to hear everything." His grandfather's face lit up. He told Leo how his grandmother would play it for him when he was a little boy, how the melody made him feel safe and loved. He described the intricate wooden carvings and the tiny ballerina that was supposed to spin. Leo listened, truly listened. He didn't interrupt. He didn't think about what he would say next. He just absorbed the story, the love, and the history held within his grandfather's words. This was the beginning of Leo's transformation. Learning to listen wasn't easy. It took practice, like learning to ride a bike. He had to actively quiet his own mind and make space for others. He started noticing things he'd never seen before: the worried look on a friend's face, the excitement in his teacher's voice when she talked about a new book, the sound of the birds singing outside his window. By listening, Leo discovered a whole new world. It was richer, deeper, and more beautiful than the noisy one he had lived in before. His friendships grew stronger. His conversations became more meaningful. He realized that listening wasn't just about being quiet. It was about connecting. It was about showing people that you care, that their words, their feelings, and their stories matter. Leo learned that everyone has a unique melody inside them, just like his grandfather's music box. But you can only hear it if you stop and truly listen. The world didn't get quieter, but Leo learned how to find the quiet moments within the noise, to tune into the people he cared about. And in doing so, the boy who never listened became the best listener of all. His own cup was no longer overflowing with just his words, but was now filled with the wonderful stories, ideas, and feelings of everyone around him. And that, he discovered, was a much richer way to live. What about you? Are you a talker or a listener? Maybe we can all be a bit more like Leo and try to listen just a little bit more today. You might be surprised by the music you hear. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that make you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.